All right, this is a huge week for the Premier League. What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Full 90. And we've had the Champions League predictions video, we've had the Europa League predictions video, and it is now time for the week 30 of the Premier League predictions. And I want to give a massive shout out to Christian Adjevi, or Adjevi, I'm not sure how you pronounce your last name, but he left his comment on the previous video and he did extremely well. He only got one incorrect result, and that was the Watford-Leicester game. He predicted it'd be 2-2, and it's actually 2-1 to Watford. So a really good week for him. And if you want to get featured in the week 31 Premier League predictions video, then be sure to leave your comments for what you think is going to happen in the games for week 30, and I'll feature one of you in that video. But it's time to look back at my week 30 predictions and see how I got on. So kicking off, we had the North London derby, Spurs against Arsenal. I mean, Tottenham had a lot of the ball, Arsenal had a few chances, Arsenal should have won the game, they didn't. I predicted it would be a 2-1 win to Spurs because Arsenal's travelling and away form isn't that great. It was a 1-1 draw, of course, in the end, so not too bad there, but unlucky for Arsenal really not to get the 3 points. The next game, Bournemouth versus Man City, I predicted a 3-0 win to City, and again, City doing the job to get the win, getting a 1-0 win, but that is quite surprising to me. And Bournemouth, I believe, the first team in the Premier League to play a game at home without registering a single shot at goal, whether it's on target or not, just no shots. So not a great show from Bournemouth. The next game, Brighton versus Huddersfield, I predicted it would be 2-0 to Brighton. It was 1-0, so about as close as you can get there, so pretty good there. Burnley versus Crystal Palace. I thought Burnley, you know, they turned a bit of a corner. They've been playing well lately. I thought they'd put up a better performance against Crystal Palace, but obviously Crystal Palace are performing very well away from home. I predicted a 1-1 draw. It was a 3-1 win to Crystal Palace. The next game, Man United Southampton. What an exciting game, full of a lot of exciting goals. I predicted it would be 2-1 to Southampton, 2-1 to Man United, sorry, and it was 3-2 to Man United. So the correct winning margin, but incorrect scoreline overall. The Wolves versus Cardiff game, I got that one right. I predicted it would be 2-0 to Wolves, and it was, so good performance there. West Ham versus Newcastle. I'm not entirely sure why I thought this. I had a gut feeling that West Ham would win. I said 2-1. They won 2-0, so good there. Watford versus Leicester. I predicted it would be a 2-2 draw, but Leicester, the first game for Brendan Rodgers, couldn't get anything from Watford. It ended in a 2-1 win thanks to a late goal, I believe. So congratulations to Watford there. Fulham versus Chelsea. I predicted it would be 3-1 to Chelsea, and it was actually 2-1 to Chelsea. So again, very, very close, but not quite there. And then Everton versus Liverpool. I predicted it would be a 1-1 draw, and it was actually a 0-0 draw. So a very good week for me. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 correct results out of 10, including a draw for Everton and Liverpool. I'd say is pretty good going. I'd like to do better, but either way, pretty good going nonetheless. We're moving on to week 30 now. Kicking it off, we have Crystal Palace versus Brighton. Now, I know Crystal Palace's home form isn't as great as their away form, but Brighton's away form is shocking compared to their home form. So I'm going to go with a Crystal Palace win here. Palace are playing very, very well. Obviously, beating Burnley 3-1 at Turf Moor is definitely a great result for them. And I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Crystal Palace, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is a 1-0 or a 2-0. I just think Brighton need to try a lot harder. They need to try and get something from this game, or they'll be dragged into that relegation battle. But I do think Crystal Palace will have too much for Brighton. Moving on, we have Cardiff against West Ham. West Ham looking good after the win over Newcastle, and the previous week they held City to a 1-0. Like, they only lost 1-0, and you could argue they might have deserved something out of that game, a dubious penalty perhaps, chances of their own. So I think West Ham can go to Cardiff and carve out a 2-0 win. Cardiff still have a chance to stay up. It's looking interesting. Southampton obviously are in that battle as well, but they're playing some really good football. Cardiff are looking a little bit shaky, so I don't know. I think Fulham are as good as gone. Much against my prediction, I thought Fulham would finish 17th in the league. I think they're gone along with Huddersfield, who are only 3 points behind Fulham, but I think it is between, you know, the next few teams to see who gets that 18th spot and who else survives. But yeah, I think West Ham can get the win here. The next game is Huddersfield against Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth need to put up a show here. I mean, Huddersfield might get something from this game on account of Bournemouth's poor away form, but Bournemouth have been pretty awful this year, you know, starting in 2019, and I think they're going to try hard to get something here. After having no shots on goal against Manchester City, they're going to go and they're going to have, I think they're going to be fired up for this game against Huddersfield because they will feel like it is a game that they can put their mark on and that they can win. So I was tempted to go for a 1-1 draw, but I am going to go with a 2-1 win to Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth they do have that extra little bit of quality at this point. I think it's time for them to bounce back to winning ways, and I think they can do it in this fixture. The next game, Leicester versus Fulham. It is the first home game for the new manager, Brendan Rodgers, and I think Fulham, like I said, I think they are just as good as gone at this point, and I do see them scoring because they almost got something against Chelsea, but I do think Leicester at home, their attacking sort of power will be strong enough. Maybe it could be, you know, like 1-1 after half an hour, because Leicester's defence in the first 15-20 minutes isn't the best, and then, you know, Leicester push on and get the win. I'm going for a 3-1 Leicester home win against Fulham. The next game is Newcastle against Everton. Now, originally I had Everton just to win this one 1-0, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 scoreline on the basis that Newcastle have been playing very, very well lately, and their home form is immaculate. They play so well at home, and, you know, they beat Man City at home recently. They beat Burnley at home solidly. They just play very, very well at home. I think Everton will have their tails up after the performance they put in against Liverpool. It was very, very well done for them, and without Van Dijk, you could argue Everton might have nicked that, because Van Dijk looks so cool and calm when he's at the back, and he just deals with things, and it always looks like he has so much time to play the ball, and that is why he is one of the best, if not the best, centre-back in the league. But either way, I am going to go with a 1-1 draw. Newcastle, obviously, Rafa Benitez, he's great at home at setting up his team. It's always going to be low scoring, in my opinion, at St. James's Park, and I think Newcastle can get something from this Everton game. The next game is Southampton against Tottenham. Now, I just want to say, what a performance from Tottenham in the Champions League. I mean, as expected, Borussia Dortmund came flying at them, and if it weren't for some fantastic defending and some really good goalkeeping, Borussia Dortmund would have scored in the first, like, 20 minutes, and that would have changed the game completely. Am I saying Dortmund would have gone through? Probably not, but just the fact that they kept that clean sheet in the first half allowed them to be more attacking going forward in the second half, and to actually get the win at Dortmund, the first team to do that this season, is incredible. So Jan Vertonghen, what a performance. Hugo Lloris, been a bit inconsistent lately, but fantastic performance on the night, and I think Tottenham will be able to go to Southampton and get the win. I think Southampton have been playing some good attacking football, so I think they will score, but I'm going to go with a Tottenham 3-1 win here. So yeah, moving on, we have Manchester City against Watford. Watford, they played well against Leicester. They got destroyed by Liverpool. They played really well against Cardiff. You know, they're great at home. I think away to Man City is not where an inconsistent team like Watford at this point want to go. And I see Man City finally getting their shooting boots on. You know, we've had some low scores for Manchester City. Has it been, I think, yeah, 2 1-0s in the last few weeks. One of them at home. I previously predicted Man City to beat West Ham 4-1. They won 1-0. I'm going to predict Man City to beat Watford 4-1. Could be 4-2. Watford are pretty prolific goal scorers, maybe 3-2, something like that. I think it's going to be higher scoring this time, about time for City. They do have a lot of shots and possession in these last few games where they've got the 1-0, but they just haven't finished their chances, and I think they are going to find the back of the net plenty of times this weekend. So 4-1 to Man City. Coming up, we have Liverpool back at Anfield against Burnley, and Liverpool obviously at Anfield are a very, very tough team to beat, and I don't think Burnley have the quality to get the job done. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win to Liverpool. Obviously, they're now chasing Man City, and I've said consistently throughout the season, at the beginning of the season, at Christmas when Man City had a massive drop-off and Liverpool were like 7 points clear, I said I think Man City are going to win the league. I still think Man City are going to win the league, but if Liverpool can just keep picking up points, a 1-point deficit is nothing. That can change instantly, and if Man City do win the league by, say, a point, you've got to look at that. Was it John Stones? Or it was either John Stones. I think it was John Stones. The clearance off the goal line against Liverpool to keep it 0-0. I mean, obviously, Mahrez did miss a penalty, but, you know, that 2 points could be massive. Obviously, you know, City are dropping City points in random places. Liverpool the same. It's going to go down to the wire for the top of the league, the top 4, and the 18th, 17th spot. You know, it's going to go down to the wire this season, and I'm so gassed for it. But 3-0 win to Liverpool here to keep their title hopes alive. The next game, Chelsea against Wolves. Wolverhampton Wanderers absolutely flying, doing very, very well. Chelsea, a bit of a wobble against Fulham. You know, you thought maybe Fulham were going to get back in it. They equalised. Fulham had an offside goal at the end. It was very, very tense moments. But I think Chelsea at Stamford Bridge are going to get the win here. I think it's going to be close because Wolves are a good team. They're a really good team. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Chelsea on the night. You know, no disrespect to Wolves. A great performance, I'm sure, is in store for them. But I think Chelsea, they need to push over the line. Keeper Arrizabalaga, he kept very well in the game against Fulham, I believe. So I think he's going to be back, you know, trying his hardest. I think the Chelsea team are going to do just enough to get the win. And now, on to the big game. This is paramount. This is absolutely massive for the state of the Premier League table. I think whoever wins it goes into the top 4. I know Chelsea do have a game in hand, but if there is a winner, it's absolutely huge. Arsenal against Manchester United. This is going to be a fantastic game. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm so excited for this game. Arsenal have been looking very good. They looked good against Tottenham when they did go forward, and they actually defended fairly well. I feel like Tottenham didn't really exploit the weaknesses of Arsenal's backline as well as they should have done, but nevertheless they did well. Man United, they are of course in an injury crisis, a lot of injuries, but they have been doing the job with their secondary squad. They're playing PSG tonight at time of recording. I predicted a 2-0 PSG win, but maybe something tells me Man United might at least score in that game. I don't know. I think that they have to go for it. So I think they're going to. But from what I've seen, Man United are resting a few key players for the Arsenal game. This is their big game. This is Arsenal's big game. If Arsenal can win, it does great things for them in the push for top 4, and likewise for Manchester United. I'm going to go with my boys, Arsenal. I'm picking them to win 2-1 at the Emirates against Manchester United. We need some revenge for the FA Cup performance, and I'm picking Arsenal to win this time. So let me know down in the comments what you think the results of Week 30 is going to be. Do you see Liverpool or Manchester City slipping up? Do you see Arsenal or Man United taking the win? So either way, that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like on it, subscribe today, turn on the bell so you don't miss a single episode of The Full 90, and I'll catch you in the next video very soon.